Morning everyone. So today we're going to do a pretty easy Pilates style, just gentle movement. I thought we deserved a bit of a break. So we're going to start lying down on our mat. You can grab a little cushion or something from behind your head if you want. Alright, we'll make our way down. Okay, so we're going to start nice and gentle, and we're just going to do a little bit of breathing just to get us started. So I'm going to pop one hand on my chest, one hand on my tummy, bent knees, feet on the floor, and I want you to think about breathing in through your nose and feeling your tummy rise without your chest rising. So breathing in, feel the tummy rise, and out, tummy drops. And in, tummy rises, out, tummy drops. And try and think about a little pause after you breathe out. So breathing in, out, and then pause before you allow that next breath in. So we're just activating the lower lungs here, trying to not allow that upper chest to get involved. And I want you to think about doing this kind of breathing throughout the whole class. So we're not going to allow that chest to kick in. We should be able to do all of this just with our lower lungs and our diaphragm. Okay. So think about that as we go along. So we're going to start with hands by our side, bent knees again. Think about pelvic tilting. So we're tilting that pelvis, so tucking back, pressing our lower back on the mat, and then rolling the pelvis forwards, and then back and forwards, back and forwards. So we're rolling that pelvis on the floor basically. And then find the middle position between those two pelvis positions. So we're going to hold that position. And then we're going to start our leg slide. So we're sliding one leg out, back to the mat, other leg out, and back. And we're thinking about getting that leg nice and straight each time. Nice purposeful movement. Keeping the pelvis where it is. So it's just the legs that are moving. And we're also thinking about that breathing that we looked at. So while we're doing this, you can keep the hands on the chest and tummy if you like. Just to remind you to breathe properly. Max is joining in. Boy, Max. And then let's bring the arms in for a little bit of coordination. So we're going to go opposite arm and opposite leg over the head. And breathe. Well done. Okay, pause for a second. And then making our way into tabletop. So bringing one leg up, other leg up. And when we're in tabletop, we want to think about that 90 degrees at the knees, 90 degrees at the hips, and keep a little gap between your feet. So kind of keeping the legs hip width apart. Think about that pelvis pressing into the floor again. Hands down, and then we're going to go for heel tap. So we're going to tap one heel to the ground, back up, and the other heel, and back up. So nice and controlled, getting right back into that tabletop each time. Keep breathing. Think about that same breathing that we practiced. And then we're going to go opposite arms again. So opposite arm to the opposite leg that's dropping to the floor, back to tabletop. Opposite and back. So keep it nice and clean and think about what you're doing. Think about that breathing. You can extend the leg here if you want to work a little bit harder. Keep going. Okay, 2 more on each leg. And relax. Both legs back down on the mat. Have a little wiggle through the pelvis again. Check your breathing if you like. And reset. Okay. So this time we're going to go for pulsing with the arms. So hundreds. So pulsing straight arm up and down from the shoulder. So we're warming up those arms. Think about what we're doing through the middle here again. So have a little play around with the pelvis. Check your breathing. And then we're going to bring both legs up to tabletop. And we're going to keep pulsing with the arms. You can bring your head and shoulders up here if you want to do a bit more. And then we're going to keep pulsing, but we're going to move the arms up to the ceiling. You can be head and shoulders on the floor or lifted here for a little bit more. Keep pulsing up to the ceiling. Don't let the legs move. So try and keep the legs nice and still. And we're just pulsing through the arms. And breathe. And then arms behind the head. Still pulsing, so you might want to lie down for this one again. Or if you can keep head and shoulders lifted a little bit, then that's going to work a little bit harder on the tummy. If you did yesterday's workout, you might be a bit sore there, so you might want to take the easy option here. And then back to the ceiling. Keep going, we're nearly there. Keep breathing. And then back to the floor. Keep pulsing for another few. Keep breathing. And one leg at a time. Head down, have a little break. Well done. Okay. So this time we're going to bring both legs up to tabletop at the same time. While we bring the legs up, we're going to bring the arms over the head. And then when we drop the legs, we're going to drop the arms back down. Okay, so off we go. So up with both legs, over the head, and then down, and drop the arms. Up, and over, down, and drop. Lexi. Doesn't know where to go. Okay, thinking about when you bring the arms over the head, big reach back behind you and then down. This time if you want, we're going to go for when we're up in this position with legs up, arms up. As we bring them down, we're going to lift the head and shoulders off the mat. Okay, so we're following our legs. So arms and legs up. And then as they come down, we're going to bring the head and shoulders up with us. Up and over. Back down, head up. That's a harder option, so stick to just head on the floor if you like. Keep breathing. 2 more. Well done. And rest. Good work. Okay. Let's bring the arms out to the side. Okay, and then bring both legs up to tabletop again. And then from here, we're just going to go for a little bit of rotation. So we're going to drop the legs slightly to the side, back to the middle, and then slightly to the other side. Okay, so the other option here, if you don't feel comfortable with that, is dropping from the feet on the floor position. So rolling through that lower back, getting a nice stretch. This one is more of a stretch as well, if you want to go for more of a stretch option. Or else this one is more of an activation through that oblique lower abdominals. Think about keeping that back nice and flat on the mat while you're doing this. Keep that tabletop, so don't let the feet come together. Keep that nice gap between the feet. And keep breathing. So thinking about lots of things. Again, we're just thinking about what we're doing rather than just going through the motions. And back down nice and slowly. Okay, so next one we're going to go for is feet back on the floor, bent knees, and we're going to drop one knee down to the mat, opening up through that hip, and then back to the middle, and then the other leg down and back. So bent knee, just dropping the knee down, out to the side, back to the middle, out to the side and back. Now again, thinking about what we're doing. So we're not going too far, so we're just moving through the hip. We're not rolling through the pelvis. So we're stopping at the point that we feel that resistance in the hip. We're not rolling over, so the back should stay on the mat. And then each time that we come back to the middle, we're trying to come back to that same position. And the other thing we're thinking about here is keeping the leg that's not moving, keeping that nice and steady. So not letting that leg wobble. Well done. So the other version here is to do the same thing from tabletop. Okay, so dropping from tabletop, back to the same position, drop and back. Same rules apply. We're not allowed to move that leg that's not moving. And then I'm going to bring a bit of arms in here for coordination. So arms up to the ceiling, dropping the opposite arm with the opposite leg, but keeping those same principles going. So we're not messing up the legs by adding the arms in. So we're really thinking about what we're doing here. Think about our breathing. Think about keeping that back nice and flat on the mat. Keeping that control through the leg that's not moving. Same thing with the arms, keeping that arm nice and still. And one more on each side. And rest. Well done. Okay, what are we doing for time? So let's just do a little bit of bridging here. So feet planted on the mat, bring them nice and close to your bum. Arms down by our side, and we're going to lift our bum up into a bridge. Okay, so we're not arching at the top, we're just coming into that nice straight line. Think about our pelvis in that nice middle position, so it's not arching, but it's not tucked, just in the middle. So we're just going up and down into our bridge. Don't have to think about it too much. Squeeze the glutes to get you up. Think about what your legs are doing. So don't let those knees wobble. Okay, so nice and controlled, switching on all of those little small muscles around the hips. And then we're going to bring arms over the head while we lift, and then down, drop the arms, over and down. Nice stretch through the back here with that nice reach over the head while we lift, and drop, and lift, and drop. Keep breathing. And then we're going to come up, lift the bum, keep that reach, and then we're coming up onto the tiptoes, hold for a second, back down, and then drop the bum. So up, tiptoes, down, and drop. Up, toes, down, and drop. While we're doing the tiptoes, keep the bum lifted. Keep that control through the knees. Keep the breathing going. Well done, 2 more. Last one. And rest. Well done, good work. Okay, let's just do a little bit of rolling through that lower back. And then we're going to make our way over onto our stomach. Well done. Okay. And then rolling over onto our tummy. Nice and slowly. You can get rid of the pillow if you like, or you can keep it nearby to balance your forehead on. So we're on our tummy. Again, you can use that pillow for your head as a little bit of a cushion. But we're going to rest the head on the floor. Arms are out to the side, so we're in a W shape. Okay, so imagining that W with our arms and our head. Resting down on the mat, and then from there we're going to lift up to the ceiling, squeezing the shoulder blades just slightly, and then down nice and slowly. So a little lift and down, so keep it small. Okay, so stay there if that's good for you, or else you can come into a little bit more of a lift. And then down. If you haven't done this kind of movement in a while, just keep it small to start with. Keep breathing. Okay, a harder version here is W, Y, W, and then down. W, Y, W, and down. Now that is really hard to do properly unless you've been doing a lot of this movement. So stick to the W if you haven't done it in a while. Using those shoulder blades to keep you lifted while you come out. We're trying not to use our upper traps too much, so try not to use those muscles just below your neck. So if you're feeling it there, go back a level. 2 more. And rest. Well done. So bring your hands in front of your forehead. Rest in the forehead on the hands. And then from here, we're just going to do some leg lifts. So we're going to lift the legs straight off the floor using our bum and our hamstrings. Okay, the pelvis stays on the mat, and then we're going to swap. So we're alternating. Okay, keep that leg nice and straight the whole way through. Think about using those glutes. Squeeze through the bum. Try and keep your upper body nice and relaxed. So try not to tense up through that upper body and shoulders. Just using the leg, and it doesn't matter how high you lift the leg off the floor. If you can feel that you're using your bum to lift the leg, then that's all good. Okay, then let's add a double in the middle. So we're going to go single, single, both legs together, then back to the singles. If anyone is feeling this in their lower back too much, you can come up onto your hands and knees and do the same thing. Okay, so that's another option there if anyone is getting a bit sore in their lower back. Some people don't like this position. So single, single, double. 1 more. Well done. and rest. Nice work. Okay, so we're going to add those two exercises together now. So we're going to go out into our W again, head on the floor. So this time what we're going to do is opposite arm with opposite leg, and then all four together. So up, single opposites, and then all four up, and then back to the singles. Nice. Again, if the double is too much, go for just the singles. So leave out the all four together. It's a harder one. Might just take a while to build up to that. Well done, keep breathing. Don't forget about the breathing. We're nearly there. Let's go for one more round. Up, opposite, and all four together and down. Well done. Okay, so pushing back up from there, we're just going to finish with a little bit of stretching. So we're going to sit back on our heels, reaching out in front. Nice stretch through. Sitting right back on your heels to start with, reaching out in front. And then bring your body a little bit further forward, so reaching the hands further forwards. Bring your bum up in the air, so keep that bum up in the air, and then dropping the body down to the mat. So you should feel this a little bit more in your shoulders and your upper back. And each breath out, think about sinking a little bit further into the mat. So again, remember that breathing. In through the nose, tummy rises. Out through the nose, tummy drops, and we're sinking further into the stretch. And then a little pause after, before we breathe back in. And then walking the hands back in towards your knees. Bring the bring the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and then just a little bit of cat-cow here. So think about sticking the bum out, looking out in front, arching through the spine, and then tucking in, tucking the neck in, tucking the bum in, and then the opposite direction. So nice and flowing through the back. And then come back into the middle. And we're just going to do a little rotation. So we're going to keep one hand on the mat, take one hand off, and we're going to slide one hand under the other hand. So we're just rotating through that upper back. Just go to the point that you feel a little bit of a stretch, and then come back, and then we're swapping to the other side. So under, feel that little stretch, and then come back off. So don't force it, just go to the point that you feel a nice stretch. Well done, one more on each side. Well done. Lovely. So let's just finish. We're just 2 minutes left. Onto the back, nice and slowly. Okay. And let's just bring both knees into the tummy and a little bit of rock rocking from side to side. And just massaging that lower back into the mat. You can do some little circles here if you like. You can come into happy baby if you like. So grabbing the feet, spreading the hips nice and wide, so get a nice stretch through those hips. And rocking from side to side. And try not to fall over. This is a nice one. And then bringing the feet back down to the mat. Nice, comfortable position, so you can just relax the whole body into the mat. And we're just going to do a reminder of our breathing just to finish after that. So one hand on the chest, one hand on the tummy. Put a little bit of pressure through the chest, so just reminding those upper chest muscles to switch off. And then as we breathe in, we're going to lift the tummy, so we're feeling that lower lungs expand and the diaphragm is working, so we're lifting. And then as we breathe out, tummy drops. And a nice pause after we breathe out. And again. And just feeling the whole body go nice and floppy into the mat. Each breath out just sinking a little bit deeper into the mat. And then slowly bringing both knees back into the tummy again. A nice little stretch through that back. And then making our way up when we're ready. Well done. So hopefully that was a nice way to start the day. A little bit less intense than the last few mornings. But we'll be back to a little bit more sweatiness tomorrow if you want to get the heart rate up a little bit more. And we'll be doing it for another 6 days. So we'll do the 10 days and then we'll go from there. See you soon.